Hi, welcome back. Well, today I've got something quite interesting for you. Well, I think it is anyway. Yeah, another guitar project. Now, my mate across the road, he runs a guitar and antique centre. He saw this online. It was fairly cheap. Otherwise, I don't think he'd have gone for it. It's by a guy, allegedly, Antonio Tsai. Now, it's quite a famous Vietnamese luthier. He's world famous for doing these incredible inlays on a number of different instruments. Now, I will put a video up shortly, in a minute in fact, showing a lot more detail of this using a better camera. This is obviously based on an SG, but this isn't finished. There's so much wrong with it, it's unbelievable. I don't think it's ever been played, though it does show signs of having a pickup in that cavity, though nothing on there, and obviously there's no hardware on it. Now, it needs a lot of work. The frets on this are sharp, as you like, they really are. You could use it as a bloody saw. The nut's not cut, well, it's been replaced or not, I don't know, so I've got to deal with that. The fretboard isn't levelled to the neck properly, but the fundamentals are all there. It's quite a nice slim build, through neck design, so laminates all the way up through the neck. So we figured, shall we try and make this into something really good? And he got it cheap, so we've not got anything to lose. Now, I've ordered some good hardware for this, so I thought, give it a good chance. I've ordered some Epiphone Pro Bucker pickups for it, and a Epiphone wiring harness in pots and switches. And I've also ordered some other quite interesting hardware for it, which you'll have to wait and see on that. Now, I'm going to probably break this down into 3 videos because there's quite a lot of work to do. This first one is just the introduction to it, and I'm going to sort out the body, get all this horrible finish off. Looks like somebody just had half a tin of spray lacquer lying around that they've just let loose over the thing. Either that or it's just hairspray. It really is just an absolute shite job. There is nothing good to say about it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I hope that we can make this into something really good. Now, obviously, if these frets haven't been put on right, it'll never intonate. So that's a risk we're taking, but we can always use the hardware elsewhere. And I don't know, it's a good challenge, isn't it? Right, let's just show you the closer look at this beautiful inlay work. Okay, yeah, you can see really how bad that spray is. It's, oh, what are they thinking? But yeah, this guitar hasn't been finished, although, like I say, there you can see some broken screws. So somebody did attempt to fit some hardware in, but there's no pegs in the back here. And you see the sandwich design of the through neck coming through again. And there's the start of this absolutely gorgeous inlay. It makes me wonder why people go to all this trouble to do such a fantastic job. And it's a really skilled job doing inlay of this quality, and then doing such a shit job on the rest of it. Antonio Tsai. So whether it is by Antonio or one of his apprentices, or just some sweatshop somewhere just copying his stuff because some of it makes good money, we don't know, but it really is absolutely outstanding. But yeah, a lot of work ahead of us, but yeah, it should be fun. Okay, let's get to work on sorting this body out. I'm going to start off with various grades of sandpaper. Starting on the back first, just to see how it starts to come off. Okay, it's taken a while, but that's just the back done now so far. I can only do it for so long because I lose interest, but it's quite rewarding. And you see that's showing the wood now much better, and that's still the top to do, and you can see how different that is. I've just got to mask off the fretboard to protect it, and then I think tomorrow I'm going to get on, finish the top and do all the neck. So yeah, update shortly. Well, that's all the sanding finished, and yeah, it was a bloody long job. Although the finish looked really thin in shitty, it was actually put on quite thick and shitty, so it did take a lot of getting off. But yeah, it's come up quite nice. This is now before I do anything to the wood, and I'm thinking of just putting a light oil feed in to preserve the wood, and then just a wax over the top and see what that turns out like. If I don't like it, it's easy enough to remove with some white spirit, clean it back to the wood again, and then maybe give it a lacquer. But it's worth a try that way first, because obviously it's a lot easier to get the wax off than it is to get lacquer off. There's also a couple of little blemishes that came to light as I sort of rubbed down through. It looked like the layers, like this laminate on the top and the laminate on this side. Sorry, that's the top, that's the bottom. They bloody glued and pinned it, and they disguised the pins with the wood filler, which was then disguised with the finish. So I've had to just sort of tweak those out. I'm going to put, it wouldn't show up on this camera, so there's a couple of stills coming up that shows you before and after, just one of the small blemishes, so that's coming up now. As you can see, it does make a difference. Don't hide it 100%, but I think you've got to really look for it. Okay, we're going to get on with the oiling and then the waxing end, and then we can see what it looks like. Okay, stuff I'm going to be using is this. It's apparently kind of like a natural wood oil, and it feeds the grain, and it should prevent future cracking. Because one thing that I was reading up on is a lot of these guitars that come out of Vietnam, they're using pretty much green woods. They've not really been seasoned that well, and people experience cracking later on when they leave the humidity of Vietnam and then spend several months in other countries, and they find their instruments are cracking, which is pretty appalling. So I'm just going to start on here. You just see it's just a gentle moving along the grain, and you can see that really is lifting the grain up now, and that's just soaking and really feed that wood. Now you don't need to put lots on, it's just a little bit on the cloth, and just work it in. To admit, this is the same stuff I use on a lot of really old clocks that I restore, and it really does do the job. It takes out very light scratches as well, kind of disguises them, I suppose, but it does help feed really dry wood. Okay, it seems to be all covered. I'm going to let that dry off for an hour or two, and then I'll start applying the wax and buff it up, and I'm hoping some of the hardware is going to arrive today, so yeah, fingers crossed. Okay, well the oil seems to have settled back nicely now, so what I'm going to do is just apply some of this, which is just a natural furniture wax, just a little bit to start with, and just then buff it off, and then just keep building layers up, so we'll just see how that goes. Again, you don't need to put too much on, because you've got to leave it for 15-20 minutes to dry before you buff it off again. If you put too much on, you're just wasting it. Well, it's going to make for quite a dull video, so I'm just going to press on and then show you the results later. Well, that's the sort of body finish now. As you can see, it's got quite a nice sheen to it. It's more satin really than gloss, but that's the kind of effect we're looking for. And you can see that, I think it's showing up on the camera okay. It's a lot nicer and smoother than that horrible finish that was on there. Obviously I couldn't remove all the finish from here, so I basically just buffed it until I got quite a nice shiny finish to it. So that's worked out okay. So next stage is sort this neck out, all the frets, they're very sharp as I said, and I noticed there are a couple of frets that seem a bit high, so yeah, I'm going to sort that out, show you how I do it, and I'll fit the tuning heads, and hopefully by then the rest of the hardware has arrived and we can get the pickups put in and get these things playing. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hope to catch up soon. Bye now.